Hello, everyone, and welcome to another match of the Final Fantasy V Career Day Randomizer Tournament. We are here with the winners final, which is not the final match, but this is a match between two undefeateds, IBKarma and FrancoiseHarpie. And I'm joined today by...
their future potential opponent, Garlisle. Hi, everybody.
That's right. Garlisle had a great race down in the lower bracket, managed to get some revenge on Freddy and eliminate Freddy from the tournament. So Garlisle will actually be racing the loser of this race right here next week.
Yeah, this is a match with quite high stakes. Because this is right before the grand finals, whoever proceeds into this is going into the grand finals without having lost. Essentially, it means if they win this match, they only need to win one more out of two potential matches going forward in order to claim complete victory. Whoever loses this match isn't just going to have to beat me to come back, but is going to have to beat their opponent twice in the grand finals in order to win.
Yeah, it's a double elimination tournament, and if you win out in the winner's bracket, then you have to be beaten twice to actually lose the championship. And by the way, we have begun.
So we will see our runners do pretty much what everybody's been doing at the start of these runs, which is just stopping by Tycoon Castle. It's a bunch of free items early, it's an early hint, and we've already seen one of it pay off with an early gold hairpin, which is kind of a relief to see at this low level.
Oh yeah, you love to see a nice early gold hairpin. You may or may not end up having a mage-heavy team, but if you don't, you can sell it later. If you do, then you just don't really have to worry much about MP for the rest of the run. So,
yeah, especially with the popularity of summons as a strategy, being able to cast like a Lucky Odin or something a few levels earlier could make a huge difference in terms of how they approach things.
I also enjoy seeing a Man-Eater found. That's a great dancer weapon. We'll see if we don't know yet what the starting job is, but I'm sure we'll see that from one of the racers' menus soon. Sandworm bait hint. Sandworm bait in World 1. Not a very specific hint, but we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, chances
Black Mage.
Oh, that is a very interesting start. One where you're very glad to see that gold hairpin.
Yeah, that's great. There's going to be a lot of MP used, I imagine, with a start like that.
Yeah, though it might be a little bit before we see anybody tackling any challenges just yet. They'll probably be going around and looking at like a few different shops. Like I see Francoise is headed straight to Surgate, which is probably one of the best shopping zones early in the game, while Karma's decided to hit up the Pirate Cove for some more free goodie.
I like this soldier check right here. Doom Black Magic and a Black Mage start is a really nice combo for free.
And that was an Aegis shield in one of the shops in Surgate. But and two-handed's there too. I know some runners do actually skip the Pirate Cove, and Doom that early in Pirate Cove could actually be a huge advantage for Karma if Francoise doesn't come back here later for that stuff.
That's absolutely true. I wouldn't skip Pirate Cave just because that particular check is so good. It doesn't take long at all to check it, so you might as well do that early on. But Tool Pass on the Path of the Void from the Librarian hint. That's a nice quick check. And once you have access to World 3.
Yeah, kind of good to see a hint like that, knowing that it's going to be a very easy starter. But having to wait for World 3 can be a little bit worrying. Sometimes runners kind of hope and plan for having an extra tablet before they have to do Exdeath's Castle and stuff when they do their sealed castle picks. So we'll see where that goes.
Now, what do these black mages have? They have basic rods, maybe. Good enough to beat a goblin. A nice naming scheme there, Karma. Hi, I'm new here.
Beautiful. Just a Genji glove, though. Oh, that's haste 2.
Ooh, haste 2. Now you really want time mage, or at least time 5. Underwater areas have no value. Interesting.
That does save us from a couple of the, like, longer out-of-the-way checks, so that's kind of a relief. Francoise is checking out the more chests. For those who don't remember this spot in vanilla, you can only take one of these 2. And it turns out neither of them are particularly spectacular today.
I didn't actually see either of them. What did he end up taking?
He took an Orihalkin dagger over the revive ability.
Yikes! Yeah, that's a womp on that find. Usually something better than that. Equipped swords. Let's see. We don't really have any job yet that would care about it, but it's good to know that it's there.
It does transfer over a knight's level of strength, so it can be useful if they do find a sword. I think that was a World 3 has a tablet, was what I saw.
Yeah, 3rd tablet in World 3. That means, well, it doesn't really mean all that much. It might actually refer to the same tablet as the other hint. We'll have to see about that. We just know that the tool pass is Path of the Void, so it might either give a tablet there or another item that leads to a tablet in World 3. Yeah. So Freddie in chat is saying that maybe some rods were bought. We could do some... Oh, more Forest Path of the Void. That could lead to the Fork Tower, everyone's favorite.
Oh, there... That's all. That's what we need again, is more Fork Tower seeds in this tournament.
I think everybody enjoys the tension of a Fork Tower seed. The players don't enjoy it, but the viewers.
Oh yeah, it's definitely had an impact on a few races in this tournament.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you're willing and able to go there. Now, Francoise did pick up Doom from the Pirate Cave, so they're on equal footing with that. But yeah, if you can clear Fork without too many resets, I think that was a big factor in the race that you just won.
It's been a factor in like at least 3 of my races, I think.
Oh really? Okay, so maybe you're the Fork Tower specialist now.
I'd like to hope so. Oh, there's Wall and White Magic. Our players have been luckily finding some like really good assortments of just general purpose low level magic at this point. So they should be pretty well equipped.
Pretty good. What you don't want to see... Oh, actually, they just got Drain. I was going to say what you don't want to see is something like an early Carbuncle here that bounces all of your magic. But with Drain, you can even get past Wall. Although I don't know if they have the MP for it. Maybe the gold hairpin person does. Oh, you got to be careful here. You got maybe try and drain Callow, because if she puts her reflect up, you could be in trouble. Picking a rod, that's a great decision.
Yeah, this is definitely one boss you want to see and get out of the way early, because Calufisteri doesn't exactly have any easy strats to take her down if you run into her later.
Yeah, she's definitely not an instant kill boss. You can level 2 old and then try and hit level 5 Doom, but that obviously requires some timing and luck and also those spells. Pyramid Page. Okay.
Hey, that could be that World 3 check we need to do.
That is still a possibility. I feel like I've already missed at least a hint or 2, but oh, Bio is nice for your Black Mage. Time 3, Magic Sword 5. Good stuff.
Yeah, not necessarily an amazing payout, but like that level of Magic Sword is enough to get most of the really important ones. Bio's nice, although I think Callow's the only boss who was actually weak to it, and we just dealt with her.
Well, Apocalypse is weak to Bio.
Oh, that's true.
But sometimes people just exploder him anyway. We'll have to see what's available at the time. I think that what our runners are looking for now maybe is a nice physical job to sort of balance out the magical and have a little bit of both. And with that time 3, we can at least cast haste 1. We can't use our haste 2 that we've found at the start quite yet.
Did just see Conjure in a shop, but unfortunately I think both of our runners have already been tripping over like Ramu and Ifrit and stuff, so probably not going to see any Conjure strats used today.
Yeah, there's Ramu in the tool. Oh, I missed that hint. Something about the bracelet world too?
Yep, that's exactly what it was.
And what location was that hint at?
I think that was in Karnak.
Thank you. That might encourage our runners to do some of the free checks in World 2 a little bit early.
Yeah, especially considering they have access to the Doom spell, there's a decent chance they may be able to, like, cheat out a win. Oh, look, there's Flare! Somebody called it! Magic Sword 6. Oh, a Brave Blade, which we know they've seen equip swords. That's real nice. A Masamune, X-Magic. Who called? Fiery Blizzard? Congratulations!
Wow, that's some nice stuff. And Odin is there just in case you find a good level of summoning as well.
Quick, white magic, mimics there.
Time 6 is nice for being able to cast haste 2. I think I would take that. Sure, take flare as well. That's not bad. But I would take that time 6. I'm not sure what Francois is going to take. He's going to... Okay, he took Odin. I don't have the ability to use Odin yet. But if you get summon 4, you can use it, and it's really, really good.
Yeah, bit of a gamble option there, but that is a gamble option that could pay off big time. Tool passes on the Path of the Void. Yep, we've seen that one.
I think it might be interesting to see what Karma takes out of the castle when he goes there. We could have a little bit difference in strategy. I expect him to take X magic for sure, because 2 black spells are better than 1. But other than that, some tough decisions.
Yeah. Oh, yep. Karma's headed in.
Good point by Fiery Blizzard in chat. We have seen equipped sword, so the Brave Blade as the strongest sword in the game is pretty tempting. But we don't have a physical job quite yet, so we could probably get one pretty easily, though. I mean, you could put equipped sword on a black mage if you wanted to.
Yeah, and it'd give them the same strength. They just would be a little bit squishy for a frontline character.
Yeah, but it would probably work okay if you didn't want to cast a spell. So Karma's checking out everything before he decides. Taking Flare because it's a black magic spell. That makes sense. Taking time 6, as I said I would, and I assume he already took X magic, but maybe he's gonna run over and take it now. Yes. All right, so all magic for Karma, whereas Francois taking on Calo has the Dragon Sword ability, which is a really nice early ability to grab so that you can easily win this first fight or two.
Yeah, it might not be quite as fast as just snapping a rod, but having an option that uses your Black Mage's magic stat without actually having to use MP and can even get you MP back can matter quite a bit at these low levels.
I like it as an early ability. It's really nice to do damage and heal yourself at the same time in terms of staying alive, basically. Okay, so Karma does a reset to check the other piece of loot in Moore Town. He's going to be disappointed, as we've already seen from Francoise's check.
Yeah, I've had 1 or 2 seeds where the revivability has honestly come in handy because I just haven't had the money for Phoenix Downs and stuff, but it's not something you are generally very excited to see.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's just that you kind of rarely really seem to need it. It can revive multiple people at once, which is nice, but you don't really want to be in that situation to begin with, if you can help it. Okay, Francois is about to hit the canal. We're less than 15 minutes in. Both runners have already fought one boss, which is a little bit early actually, but these people are fast, so what do we expect, right?
Yeah, they're I just had it on the tip of my tongue. We've still got yeah, which Liquid Flame can be kind of a pain in the neck, so getting him out of the way in one shot is real nice. We have only seen 6 out of the 10 available hints so far.
That explains it. Why we've gotten to the bosses a little faster than usual. There's still some outstanding hints. Francois does the rock hop gamble, and it does not pay off. That's one that I tend to skip, but of course, sometimes you get burned when you skip that check too.
I feel like almost every chest in the game that isn't just immediately on your path has burned somebody at some point.
Karma doing the Balcastle gate check early, looking for some Doom cheeseable boss here, I imagine. He does have Flare. I think he might even be able to double cast it on his gold hairpin person. Oh, there's Apocalypse. Use your bio. Maybe. Use your bio, Karma. There he goes. Not sure if he's got X Magic on. Yes, he does. At least on some of these folks, but it's not using it because maybe doesn't have the MP to do 2.
He did. I just wonder if he just automated out of it, expecting he'd slap black magic on everybody. But that does take out Apocalypse. This spot at Balcastle is a little bit heavier on experience than a lot of other checks, so this is going to give Karma a bit of a power advantage here for everybody except Lena. Go figure.
Yep, some nice levels on the team. I think the bios did just enough damage to get that win by maybe even less than 100 total. Only gave a Lamia Tiara, but the experience you're happy with that experience regardless.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Francois just beat the ship graveyard boss, and I didn't even see who it was.
It was Carla Boss, and unfortunately just a double lance. I think another double lance, not the first one we've seen this season.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of those already. Ancient Library has the shrine page. That's another hint for us.
Ball did not drop anything.
Right. Nothing. It was a tiara, which was well with that man-eater that we found, but we haven't found the dancer job.
Speaking of long and slightly risky checks.
Oh yeah, getting the moat loot. Slow 2. Not bad. Will Francois be able to beat Apocalypse here, doing the same check?
Oh yeah, that's enough damage.
Yeah, potentially only 2 bios should do it. Lena has good magic power. There you go. Okay. Karma has found Ninja and Dancer in a shop. He's going to be selling some things, but he doesn't want to sell the Man-Eater because the Dancer can actually use it.
Yeah, just kind of flicking back and forth and highlighting. Yay!
Also, Ninja is really tempting, but he doesn't really have the money for it, so it looks like he's going to go Dancer with the Man-Eater. You can just attack regularly if you like that, and put some sort of secondary ability on your Dancer.
Yeah, Freddie pointing out the same thing I was thinking. Could just tab on the equipped sword later, too, and slap the Brave Blade on the Dancer there, and just really be good to go nuts.
Yep. For sure, that'll work. The Tiara lets you get 50% sword dances, so Moogle Suit World 1, not all that helpful, Kelger, but maybe a little bit helpful.
Yeah, that means there's a good chance you'll find it doing the early checks, and that's a bit of a relief. Doesn't really help our runners with figuring out where things are, though, and that's going to start becoming a bit of a thing, because most of our hints at this point haven't really been anything we can act on.
Yeah, I agree. This is shaping up to be a little bit of a suffer seed in terms of hints. We don't have good direction yet, other than Tool Pass.
Yeah, we know Tool Pass once we get to World 3. We know more Forest, but that requires us to find the Elder Branch.
Exactly, yeah. So I think it seems to be a good play at this point to do a lot of World 1 checks that you can just get through quickly and hope that you stumble upon something useful.
Yeah, especially with no idea where the Mirage Radar or the Trench Page are either. This is going to be a seed where just being able to do a bunch of checks as fast as possible and like streamline experience gain versus like how long it takes to do the fights and all that stuff. Just the ability to speed through things is really going to be a heavy determinant here.
Yep. Now, Karma is at Hiryu Valley, probably going to tent and then check to see how tough this boss is. Again, this is a nice infusion of experience if you can beat the boss. Otherwise, you might have to come back later.
Similarly, Francois is headed to the Waltz Meteor, which is also a really good spot for picking up some experience.
Don't love Sandworm here, but you might have the MP with your Black Mages to... and Sword Dances are kind of nice, but Sandworm's always in the back row, so that damage is getting halved. If you can double Fire 3s with Fire Rods equipped, should do quite a bit of damage. If you've got enough MP to win, I guess is sort of the question here.
Yeah, the good news is Sandworm doesn't really do that much in terms of damage, so... speaking of experience, though, Francois runs into the Antlion, who runs off. So that's no experience there, but that is a tablet!
Hey, they got something out of the Antlion. No experience, but a tablet, you'll take it. And that's at the Waltz Meteorite. Oh, now that is more loot out of the castle for Francois. That could be an advantage because we know that there's some really nice stuff in there. Meanwhile, on Karma's side, double casting Flare, the MP cost is high on that, and it's actually lower damage than if you have a Fire Rod to boost your Fire 3. I don't know if he necessarily does have Fire Rods on all three of those Black Mages. Either way, the hit point totals of Sandworm is a little bit of a problem here. It's kind of high. At Hiryu Valley, it's 12,000 hit points that you need to do. Would slow you down a little bit if you ran out of MP and you had to rely on your Dancer to finish things off.
Yeah, I think there will be enough damage, though. I think I just saw Chemist in that shop that's in Carwin.
Yes. Yep. Francois looks like he bought it to me, although I didn't necessarily hear the cash sound. But nice experience for Karma, who takes out Sandworm and gets the bracelet. So each of our runners have gotten some required things by going in different directions. Very interesting.
Yeah, and fortunately, Karma's route of things has resulted in Karma having some very high levels very early.
Yeah, those checks that he's done, Sandworm always seems to give a lot. Steamship is on the path of the void. Well, now we need the steamship key.
Yeah, that's another good one. Like, you're happy to see the steamship and go do it anyway in general, but also that is another key item. We just don't know where it is.
Yeah, you don't mind doing the steamship early if you can find the steamship key, but we don't have any information about where it might be, so that could be a while before we get to that. Karma looks like this is the Tycoon Meteor. Ooh, Minotauros, you gotta dance and maybe break a rod or something to beat him here, because you can't use magic.
Yeah, I think this was the Karnak Meteor, but yeah, this is not an ideal party to be running into Minotauros, but as long as Karma has enough rods to spare, it's actually quite doable.
He wasn't willing to break a second rod, which would have won the fight. I think he's kind of banking on dance here to save Fire Rod, and unfortunately it's not working out because you know what the dancer did? The dancer stole all of Minotauros's MP, so it can't use Holy on death because it's out of MP. So that's kind of a nice little side thing that the dancer did before it died. Mystery Waltz for the win. Ooh, Golem and Elder Branch. Oh. Nice payoffs. That is a required item. So we do have a couple things that we can chase now. Ooh, at the Shiva location, we have Twin Tanya, 1,500 hit points. Francoise is just going to go with a Fire 3, and it's not quite enough. It's flared on counter, but can win with one more cast, so it's fine.
Yeah, at least Flare is a single target spell. If that had been like a Tidal Wave or something.
Exactly, yeah. The bosses are scaled down because this is an early game location, so you're not going to get Mega Flared or Tidal Waved in such an early spot, so Flare, sure, it kills someone, but it only kills one person, so it's not really that bad. You call. Interesting. I haven't heard of anything about that being required, but you never know. Karma is raiding more forest, which he knows he needs to go there. I think it's a little early to go there, but the loot is great. So if nothing else, you get the loot, you save, and then you check the boss and see if you can handle it.
Yeah, there is basically a shortcut you open up once you've finished traversing the area, so it's not like it really loses you any time to loot it right now. Even if, like, Karma doesn't plan to actually kill the boss on this go at all. Although, Karma's got a lot of the levels for it, and just stumbled into blue in a chest there.
Blue is really nice to find so early. I think there was... I'm trying to think what blue spells have been found. But just in general, having that ability can turn out to be really nice as you play through a seed.
Yeah, I think Karma got hit by a Mind Blast off of Azul Magia at the start of that fight, if I remember right. Which, that can actually be a really useful spell.
It's a really useful spell, yeah. It never misses, and if the target is vulnerable to paralysis, you can lock down certain bosses and almost get them to the point where they don't do anything. So getting it early is pretty great, actually.
And some mentions of Deathclaw as well, which is nice. Here's the Gargoyles. This is... I can understand Karma pausing for a moment here to figure out what he's going to do, because...
The Gargoyles can be doomed. I would X-Magic doom these and hope to get hits.
Oh, yeah.
I would just spam X-Magic doom on on them. They have some magic evade, so you're not going to hit every time, but all you need to do is get a couple. Of course, now that I say this, they're not hitting. Going with dance. I don't think there's too much value in dance here. They've got over 15,000 hit points each. Really bad luck on the dooms. Really bad luck.
Yeah.
The magic evade shouldn't be that high here. They do have, more levels than Karma does, so you do have to overcome that. Pretty unfortunate, actually. If you run out of MP, there's one. Now we really need... Oh, okay, we only needed Lena to hit both at the same time.
Oh,
hey, my gosh. Okay, so that was the how the hints come together. Steamship key at Moor Forest. I assume Karma will just immediately chase that because we know we need to do so.
Yeah, and plus at the end of the steamship is the Karnak escape, and unless you are feeling particularly great or particularly rushed to begin with, not many runners are going to want to skip the chests in the Karnak escape.
Yes, now this of course does beg the question about the hint logic, whether that hint was referring to Steamship Key or to something like Fork Tower, which is also what you get available to you when you clear Moor Forest. We probably won't worry about that for a little while longer. I did see Francoise got the hunter job on the way to the catapult, which I haven't seen any good bows, but I could have missed a good one.
I don't think I've seen any either, which is kind of surprising. Seeing an early Yoichi or an Artemis feels fairly standard.
Yes, they're very common. The bows have all been sort of pushed down into the lower tiers, so even the best bows are not too hard to find early in most seeds.
Francoise is checking catapult, but the stream has not.
Yeah, the stream is frozen. Okay, I was going to say it might be over before we get it back, but it's back very quickly, and it's Soul Cannon, so this is over already. Really low hit point check at the catapult, only 2,000. Another double lance. Have you seen enough double lances yet? Shoat should be able to just X magic Shoat down with a couple flares or fire threes. This isn't too many hit points at Liquid Flame. I think it's like 3,300 or so. Ooh, got drained. 3,000 hit points only here.
Not going to stop Shoat from doing his best to try to troll. We do see Bahamut over on the other side. Oh, there's the fourth tablet in the steamship.
Okay, so the steamship definitely paid off. It definitely was Path of the Void, like the hint said. And now both runners have 2 tablets. Just different second tablets that they've obtained.
Yeah, so it seems we don't have a hint for anti-barrier, but once we get into World 3, we know that Tool Pass has the remaining tablet, which maybe means our runners might decide to skip the X-Death's Castle bosses. However, there's always the possibility that Tool Pass leads us to, like... Wait, no, we've already got a thing that says no underwater locations.
True. But it could be the beginning of a chain, right? Tool Pass.
Yeah, I was just trying to think if maybe like it would end up giving them the submarine key and then they'd need to find something, but I guess that's not really a concern.
Yeah, the only thing that's not underwater that requires the sub key is Barrier Tower, and that's not too long of a check.
Yeah, and that wouldn't require 2 key items to get into, so...
Right. Francoise is fighting Timmy You can Doom Timmy, but the chances of it hitting are a bit low, so I like this strategy to just use damaging spells. He also has Shell, so he's going to have your magic damage. There's really nothing you can do about that with this party, but just keep at it, and it'll be over. I noticed that Francois beat Bahamut as well, but I did not see what the reward was there. I assume it was nothing. Bridge key at Lanka. Just a partisan from Bahamut, and I assume that was at like Tycoon Meteor or something.
They're going fast enough, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, we just did Lanka, and that was the big bridge key, so it must have been Tycoon. Wing Raptor, doomable boss here. Another doomable boss. Black Mage doing its job. Wow, very unlikely that Wing Raptor would dodge Doom because it's very low level. But it did just once. And the Karnak Escape gives a gold shield, so that's nothing. I'm sure there was some good loot as Karma ran through, but unfortunately I didn't get a chance to look at it.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing anything that stood out.
Francois is about to take on the Moogle Waterway boss, an ungated World 2 boss. Ooh, Dispel is nice. I don't know if we'll need it. It might come in handy later. Ooh, another doomable boss, to hear you plant. And Francois goes for it right away, misses. So many dooms missing. It's actually a pretty accurate spell. There you go, second try. And now the flowers, which can be problematic because of their high magic defense, but they don't have much hit points here, so they're down as well. Okay, no key item, just the Bard's Clothes at the Moogle Waterway. I'm looking at levels. It looks like Francois's team is level 20. I feel like Karma's team is probably a little bit higher than that. Yes, 23 and 24. They're both well on their way, but it's a little early for Exodus Castle, and of course we're still looking for the anti-barrier. Francois making his second trip to the sealed castle. Any predictions, Garlisle, of what he will take here?
I don't think Francois picked up ×6 last time they were here.
Right. I would definitely take that if I was him.
Yeah, pick up the Brave Blade by this point.
Okay, he looked at ×6 but did not take it. Instead took... What was that? Okay,
that was Mimic.
×6. Yep, Mimic is nice to have for later. It's hard to choose, actually, Brave Blade or Masamune. I guess you can get equipped swords, so you take Brave Blade, but Masamune can be really good too on someone who they'll get to go first, and then they can haste the whole team, and then they're off and running really quickly.
Yeah, Freddy just nailing it with the calls. Our chat is psychic today.
Well, those were probably the best things available in there. I agree with Freddy's prediction. If we had seen equipped katana, maybe you stick that on Mimic, and then you also give them ×6, and then they can haste everyone right at the start of the fight. But I haven't seen the equipped katana ability, so...
I think we have seen it somewhere.
It's possible. There's so much to see, especially early in a seed, that I just can't keep track of it all. Okay, so equipped katana was in more. Interesting. It's just something to consider. Not necessarily the best play, but it's a play. And so I did buy Ninja, it looks like, and takes out Minotauros, although one person does get bullied and killed off.
Oh, Francois finds that elder branch.
Yeah, we'll see if Francois chases that or not. In theory, he should have the hint to indicate that he needs to chase it, but instead going to North Mountain, World 1, can't really fault him for doing a lot of World 1 checks.
Yeah, the Moor Forest check is like the scariest check in World 2 to me, so I can understand not wanting to rush there when you know you still probably need to do some other stuff too. But yeah, we haven't done North Mountain. We haven't checked the top of the ancient library. We haven't checked the big bridge.
Karma is going to the Waltz Castle, which I believe. I just saw that hint. I didn't see it before, but bridges have nothing of value.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that would explain why Francois didn't chase the big bridge key when they got it.
But we do know that Waltz Castle has the Hear You Call, which honestly, I don't think that's going to be a lead to anything.
I mean, at this point, we're basically looking to chase down where our anti-barrier is.
Yep. And also, ooh, this is a rough one for Francois. I looked away, and all of a sudden, he must have gotten. Well, he must have walked through the flowers or something, and then
just didn't bother to heal. Yeah.
That's okay though, because I think Hallie will be dead here. Yeah.
That would have been an embarrassing loss.
Three other dead characters, and Butts is the only one that gets the experience. But whatever, it's a win. Exploder.
Oh, there it is.
The anti-bear. Wow, unhinted North Mountain World 1 paying off. That one is something that Karma does not like to check until World 3. That could be a real advantage for Francois, because I think Karma is probably going to fade that check. And he will need to do that check to get into Excess Castle. So this could be an important turning point. Francois doing the Hear You though. The Ziza Fleet check, I should say. That's a little bit surprising.
It's not terribly surprising. Francois still hasn't been to Hear You Valley to find the last remaining key item. So while we know, because we've seen between the two runners where everything is, we know they just need to do Exdeath Castle, go to Tuol Pass, and then follow that. Neither of our runners actually knows that just yet. There's still a mystery on each of their logic sheets.
Absolutely. The knowledge that we have as viewers is biases me a little bit. I'm like, oh, sure, someone should go there, but wait, they don't have that information. It's also a little bit hard to keep track of it early on in a seed, who has what information.
Karma stumbles into that extra tablet, so now Karma just needs to stumble into the anti-barrier and they're good to go.
Yeah, 3 tablets for Karma is really nice. Like I said, though, I know he likes to fade North Mountain, and that could hurt him. We'll see where he goes after he checks the Carwin shops. Should definitely buy Sleep there. You have Black Mage. Okay, he's going back and doing it. Wow, what a good thought there.
Tablet 4, I believe, was the one that was in the steamship, and that was obtained from the Hear You Valley. No, wait, that was from Moor Forest. Yeah.
Yeah, the steamship key was Moor Forest, but the steamship itself has Tablet 4. Meanwhile, on the Ziza Fleet fight, we have Shiva, and we also have Fire 3 to take out Shiva and her commanders. So I don't think this will be too rough on Francois to get the win.
The bracelet was in Hear You Valley. That's the one Francois needs to find. Once Francois finds that, he knows the other items in the Moor Forest and can just chase that one down.
Yeah, her commanders are really annoying. It's kind of... We don't like to do fair fights where the enemy has as many team members as we do. But Francois got them all down with those AoE Fire 3s. And a Lamia Tiara is sort of a womp. We already have one, I think, anyways.
Yeah, Freddie is pointing out in chat also that, like, while this has been a relatively quick seed, our runners are, like, even though we've gotten our hands on Chemist, our runners are probably starting to think in the back of their head, okay, great, what am I going to buff up with Chemist? Like, we haven't seen Samurai, we have seen, like, the only summoner tool we've seen is Odin.
Yeah, not much summoning going on, but as I mentioned, I didn't think Karma would go to North Mountain, but he has. So this is going to really pay off pretty big for him.
Yeah, considering they know that the Moogle suit's in World 1, I can see Karma prioritizing World 1 checks, and there's not many checks left. As Fiery Blizzard was saying, he's right there.
Made the team all chemists to get those sweet ability points for Mix. Hopefully, you know, in an easy way, but he's going to have to use some maiden kisses and such to heal that up and then keep fighting against Hallie. Over on the other side, Francois taking on Siren. I assume this is in the X-Step Castle basement, and she is vulnerable to Doom, so there she goes. Ooh, Walls Tower Key. I don't think we'll need that, but you never know.
Yeah, we know at this point that that's not required for the Void, but it's always possible that that's the one that leads to the Moogle suit. That said, yeah. Francois seems to be prioritizing the World 2 checks to try to find that bracelet, because I think he's realized that's like one of the big things he's missing.
Yeah, and now Francois is going to the Moor Forest, so not only... yes, we do have Blue Vaughn, as asked in the chat. The blue ability is here in the forest. Let's make sure that Francois doesn't miss it. Sometimes you can miss a treasure chest in here if you aren't careful. I think it's like one of the last checks before the forest fire opens things up.
Yeah, Blizzard...
Karma taking on Bahamut. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Blizzard does bring up an interesting thing, which is, with the lack of tools, there is always the possibility that our runners do some extra checks in World 1, like Walls Tower and stuff, to try to find that Moogle suit, or that they maybe even head to the Pyramid.
Ooh, yeah. I don't think that... I'm not expecting Pyramid, but we'll have to see how the loot is in Excess Castle itself and how powerful our racers feel once they get out of it. Oh, Equipped Katana was free from Moor Forest. Interesting. I think someone said it was in Moor, and I thought they meant the town, but actually it's the forest, so it was free.
Yeah. Karma has everything needed, actually, at this point to just get on the move and go finish up the game, but is continuing to clear the World 1 checks, hoping for that Moogle suit. So I think Karma has at least realized, like, I'm not ready for Neo X Death, and we've had generally some very, very quick and easy Neo X Deaths due to finding certain setups for many of our runners, but Neo X Death is a boss you do not go into unprepared.
That's for sure. I know that you have had some Jetish seeds, but then gotten stuck at the end, and that is definitely something, you know, everybody's worried about happening to them.
Yeah, that was a big problem for me when I was first learning this. Was just like I would reach the end and I'd reach Neo X Death and not be well prepared with a strategy, and the difference in time between having the tools to speed kill Neo X Death and not is not small, even if you do first shot it.
Yeah, it becomes a really long fight if you don't have good tools for it, and we like to fall into, like, obviously because we're racing, we like to fall into the really fast strategies. Even if you've got a reasonably fast strategy, you're like practically doubling the amount of time it takes to win. I want to mention over on Francois's side, taking on the Gargoyles with AoE. Considering how many times Karma missed, this might end up being about the same amount of time, but if the damage is a little off, if it's not balanced, that could cause a problem because they do come back with full HP if you let them come back. Potential problem fight, but it looks to me like Francois is handling it okay. The team is not hasted. Someone just ran out of MP. Those could be problems, but we'll see. Karma's really looking hard for that Moogle suit, going and clearing ship graveyard, taking out Karlabos, getting nothing but double lance after double lance. Seems to be the common reward this seed.
Yeah, he is really going in looking for that. Unfortunately, we know like Catapult and Lanka Meteor aren't going to do it. If it's accessible in World 1 without being behind the Adamantite, it's going to be either in the top of the Ancient Library or in the Waltz Tower, which Karma didn't find the Waltz Tower key, because that's down in the basement of Exdeath's castle.
And will he go to Exdeath's castle basement, or will he skip it? That might be an interesting point of difference. Okay, so Francois did beat the gargoyles, had to use an elixir on his on Ferris, which could be a factor later. Sometimes it's nice to have a spare elixir for the final fight or something, so we'll have to remember that. On the other side there, Karma taking on Timmy, but I think the stream's frozen, so we'll have to check back on that one in a minute. Oh, okay. It appears he has beaten Timmy now and got the big bridge key.
Would have been a surprise if he didn't, honestly.
Yeah, at this point, the World 1 bosses should all be pretty much just a joke to get through. Karma might feel... Oh man, how do you feel behind when you've got everything except one tablet and you know where the last one is? All I can say is he might feel a little behind because he has been chasing the Moogle suit and hasn't found it yet. So it's possible if your opponent is not chasing the Moogle suit, they might be ahead of you.
Yeah.
But, the things that you find in the Moogle village might allow you to catch up as well.
Yeah, finding Samurai or Giltos in the Moogle village, which is a fairly common thing to find, is probably what Karma's banking on. One other thing I noticed...
Masamune out of the sealed castle for it as well.
Yeah. One other thing I noticed is Francois is here doing the steamship. I'm pretty sure I saw Karma skip a couple of the chests in Karnak Escape, the ones that are like really out of the way. If Francois chooses to go for those, there is a chance that I think one of those would be one of the missing monster in a box, which might be something valuable as well.
Yeah, I wish that I had seen Karma's looting. I really didn't see it, but steamship chests aren't very high tier. Sometimes they give something good, like if you haven't seen Chemist in a shop, sometimes you're worried that it's in the steamship somewhere. And then, of course, the Karnak Escape loot is pretty nice, but you don't necessarily want to get every single chest because it does take time. So we'll see what Francois does in terms of castle looting. I think people are talking about Aegis shields in chat. We did see those really early for sale at Surgate. And Winfox claims that Karma already has bought 4 of them. So definitely looking for that 4 mimic endgame strategy.
Yeah, those Aegis shields means you don't even have to put up life shield and stuff, which can be a real just skin off your back, no getting white holed at the start, trolled by Tree X death nonsense.
Yeah, it's really nice to come in and have invulnerability from the very start to that particular nasty spell. Okay, not throwing scrolls. Maybe Francois doesn't have any scrolls to throw here. That's a really quick way to win these monster in a box fights. We have Ramu in the library. Is this the... This has to be the first library check, right? You can
Yeah, they don't have
doom
the
Ramu
efforts fire.
if this hits, got him right away. So there's a chance that this could be that Moogle suit that Karma's looking for.
Yeah, if it's not here, it's either in Walt's Tower or it's somewhere behind the Adamantite, which is Shrug.
Yeah, you don't like to see that. That's like one of the longer World 1 checks there is. Oh, we get a shrine page from the library. I don't think we wanted to see that. Never know, it could be... Well, no, I don't. At this point, I don't think it's anything. But people are definitely talking in chat about the possibility of what will Karma do once he goes in Exodus Castle. Will he check the basement, or will he blast right up to the top? And then if he does check the basement, will he leave and go to Walt's Tower and really chase that Moogle suit hard? He is going down to the basement.
I can understand, with the lack of preparation for Neo X Death, killing the bosses in the castle, hoping for either like a World 1 expanding key item, or just the Mirage Radar, which we have no idea where that is, but that would also be like a huge relief to see the Mirage Radar.
Karma forgetting that you can Doom Siren. This is going to make the fight a little bit slower, but not hugely so. Francois getting Wing Raptor at the Garnet Castle escape exit. Unfortunately, I didn't really see a lot of his looting either, but maybe somebody in chat could tell us if he found something amazing that Karma did not. Wonder Rod, interesting.
There is that Walt's Tower key for Karma. Not going to chase it immediately and just going to start up the Exodus Castle, which makes sense. Like, the chests here are also pretty good and could provide something he's looking for.
Yeah, I think Karma's the type of player that doesn't like to leave this castle once he's inside, although warping out from the basement is not really a time loss, because when you come back in, you don't have to travel through it or anything. But I'm fine with that. There tends to be good loot in the castle that helps you in this fight here, so I'm curious to see what he finds. Assassin Dagger is a nice find. We've already beaten Minotauros. We already have the Doom spell. Hero Song magic. That's really nice. You're right, Freddie. I agree. That might end up just being a decent weapon to like enchant with a Spellblade later or something like that. Artemis Bow. Not sure if... I don't think Karma has Hunter. I think it was Francois only, maybe, that bought that. Or maybe even... I think it was only Francois.
Yeah, but Francois is going to find the bracelet here shortly, and then we'll have to see how Francois approaches the situation, because they're basically actually in the same state of having pretty close to just full cleared every available check up to this point. So we'll have to see if Francois decides to continue hunting down locations in Exdeath's Castle, or just goes like, okay, I've done enough, let's just go.
Chimera Brain. Well, you can boom this, I believe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's vulnerable to a few different forms of instant kill.
I had forgotten that Hunter was in a shop, but it was also for free on the way to the catapult. So both of our runners did find that job and have it available. Trench page from the carbuncle location. We know that that's not anything that's really required, but there are hints down there if you are desperate and want more.
Yeah, they shouldn't need the hints. I think the biggest reward out of that would be the chests in the 2 shops.
Yeah, I wouldn't be going to trench in this seed. I really can't imagine any reason why you would need to. The shopping is, well, I mean, if you don't get Mirage access and you feel weak, maybe you would go for the shopping, but I personally would even skip that, I think. So Karma is doing all the checks in Extess Castle. Francoise, we're coming up on an hour and has not entered the castle yet. Oh, we've got a vanilla fight here. Greg 4 at the Greg 4 location.
Greg, this is a randomizer.
But now Francoise has Bracelet. My bad. I guess he didn't have access to Extess Castle. That's why he couldn't go there. He had to gain access first, or access to upstairs at least. So now he's headed straight there. Now I believe that at least the first form, if not the second form of Gilgamesh in that location is humanoid, so the Man-Eater dances should do nice damage, but it looks like Karma's going to skip it. It's kind of a difficult and lengthy fight, and he knows that it's not required. So he's going to just move on. Points are looking a little low here. Can we cast Golem? Do we have Summon 3? I know we found Golem, but I'm not sure if we can actually use it.
I don't think we've seen... I think the most we've seen is like Summon 2, honestly. We have... Oh, no, there's Summon 3. Oh.
Okay, there we go. That's really nice. Clutch fine thing to have.
Yeah, considering Karma is full-on classes that don't have a whole lot of vitality, I don't think Karma's got access to Shell either. So, like, the magic in this fight is going to be doing one-shots as is. Being able to remove the physical attacks from the equation, at least, is going to make a big difference.
Yeah, Karma's right on the borderline. At full health, a single Bolt 3 or something like that from X-Death is going to either one-shot him or leave him with, like, hardly any hit points at all. And, of course, in Phase 2, X-Death does that, well, or has the chance to do that twice in a row. So this could be a little bit of a tight fight, but I think with Sword Dances and X-Magic and boosted spells or just using Flare, Karma should be able to squeak through. I don't expect everyone to be alive at the end, but you just have to win. That's all that matters. There's no experience or ability points given, so just win, baby, as they say.
Yeah, we'll have to see how Francoise approaches this, because Francoise has reached the top save point in the castle, and this is usually the point where people are deciding whether they're going to turn around and go do like the carbuncle spot, or if they're just going to skip them. Which that would catch Francoise up a little.
It certainly would. Francoise going with mimics. I didn't notice if he mastered Black Mage. You don't really have to. You can, if you get like Black 6, that's plenty good. You can switch to Mimic. I know he's got one light staff that he could break, which helps in the Castle X-Death fight. But yeah, the real question is he going to go back and do the carbuncle location? Is he going to do the Greg 4 location check, or is he going to go straight to the end and try and take on stuff? And straight to the end, so we are about to see probably overlapping X-Death fights here. We'll see if Karma can get through. And Francois has a little bit more hit points on these characters, which could help quite a bit. Oh, through that pinwheel. Why not? 5,000 damage. Oh, wow. Karma proved me wrong. Everybody was alive at the end of his SLX death fight. Yes, you can mimic pinwheel, and it does not use them up from your inventory, so that would actually be a great strategy for this fight. Yeah. Throw a pinwheel and then just mimic it infinitely the rest of the fight. Throwing plus mimic is kind of amazing like that. You can really conserve a lot of the great throws that way. High damage throws.
Karma is doubling down on that search for the Moogle suit.
Yep. So he really thinks it's around and he really wants it. And so he's going up Waltz Tower and pretty much has to be there unless it's at the flying Lanka ruins, I guess, right? At this point.
Yeah, and if that's the case, our runners are not likely to find it.
Yeah, because we have no adamantite, so we don't know where that might be. So let's see what happens with this one. Oh, you don't like to see Tyrannosaurus here. You want a much harder boss here. Low hit points for an easy win. Oh, sandworm bait. Well, we do have a hint about the sandworm bait is in World 1, so maybe Karma will now go check the desert, too.
Yeah, I guess I forgot about that check. Technically...
That could be it. I think we all kind of forgot about that one. It was a while ago. Oh, Cure 3 is nice to find as a reward.
Hey, Swerve. To catch us up basically on the general state of the race, both runners, Francois literally just finished up X Death, and so did Karma like a couple minutes ago. Both of them know that the last tablet they need in order to go to the game is going to be off of an item chain from the tool pass, which means they're more or less in not so much go mode as no mode. They know what they have to do. However, we've noticed that neither runner really has a good sense of what they're going to have in terms of like how they're going to deal with VOX death. And so Karma's opted to chase down trying to find the Moogle suit, which we know is in World 1 somewhere, while it looks like FrancoiseHarpie is headed straight to Tool Pass to get into it. And that could end up paying off depending on like if this location for Karma ends up having the Moogle suit and like ends up leading us to Samurai or high-level summons or something. Whereas if Francois does this and just heads straight to the Void, and it turns out those important items were in the Void, Francois could have just taken the lead back here.
Yeah, this could be a small difference, small divergence here. Not having quick kill for Necro, but actually Francois is not looking too good against Odin. A double shout could hit, but the chances are very low. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head what the chance for this to hit is, but it's probably like 20%.
Yeah, it's Odin has a significant amount of magic evade, which is going to make things tough in general. And then I think is still also a fairly decently leveled boss. So yeah, not it can be
Francois
instant kill,
did a
not
nice
dependable.
Yeah, I apologize for interrupting, but Francois does have a save right out the fight, so not too much time lost, really. You might just go hard on spamming show. Oh my gosh, nothing from Sandworm Desert. Just gave a Mithril Spear, so Karma's chase for the Moogle suit is still coming up empty, unfortunately. And now he's probably going to have to just move on and do the tool pass check. Looks like he's going to grab going to grab things out of the sealed castle one last time. I like the X Magic Fire 3 strategy because Odin in this location only has 8,000 or so hit points. So maybe you don't spam Shoat. Actually, we don't even have Shoat, so. Oh, and there is no chain. It's just the third tablet at Tool Pass. So now Francois is in go mode. Fire 3 does more than Flare if you have a way to boost it. You do 150% damage, and so it's a faster animation, it uses less MP, and it does more damage if you have a Fire Rod or a Wizard Rod equipped. Or some other shenanigans for boosting. Flare is kind of meh in Final Fantasy V unless you're using Flare's Spellblade, which is really nice.
Francois is doing something fascinating here and checking the magic lamp spot. Probably hoping...
a Dragon Fang, that could be useful for mixing.
Yeah, that'll probably end up, if they remember they have it for the final fight, maybe saving the same amount of time as it took to get it, but
yeah, maybe. Probably not quite as much time to run up there, but I think Francois did that in another of his races as well. Maybe that's just a check that he likes to do. Most of us skip it, but why not? You can also refresh your magic lamp up there if you happen to have one, and if you've used it, that might be a situation where I would do it because you sort of get a 2-for-1 there, a reward and a refresh of the lamp, but that doesn't come up very often. Okay, and Francois is also headed back for the final item grab at Sealed Castle. What will Karma do against Odin? He's doing like a hybrid strategy of trying to shout, but then also X-magicking Flare. So I think this will work out. It's looking really close because the runners are basically mirroring each other. They're not doing the exact same order of checks, but they're doing the same checks. And so it's gonna look pretty even pretty soon, I think. I would expect maybe a little bit of shopping before diving into the void. Karma gets through the Odin fight first try, so yeah, we're very close here. Francois has been flying around for a long time looking for some shop or going back to Surgate, it looks like. It's a little bit of a waste of time on trying to find the shop he was looking for, but not a huge deal. The airship flies really fast. Okay, so he does want those Aegis shields that Karma bought earlier, and Karma appears to think that he does not need to do any shopping and is diving right into the void, so that actually gives him lead now. He's taken the lead back, you could say, since he was out of Extus Castle a little bit before Francois. I don't enjoy flying around World 3 and doing shopping. I often will warp to a world where I'm a little bit more familiar where the towns are. Like, you could just warp to World 2 and Surgate is right at the warp point, so if that's what you're looking for, you might get it faster than flying there in World 3.
Yeah, we'll have to see what's in these chests for Karma, because some of it
crystal, but we already had the blue ability.
Yeah, because this will be interesting if they genuinely don't find like high level summoning or guild toss before X Death, because I don't think they have. Like, I don't think I've seen break sword magic either. I haven't seen a magic lamp, so like, it would be very interesting to see this potentially come down to like a genuine straight up like Neo X Death slug, because I don't expect the bosses will be too difficult. They don't have too many troublesome bosses left.
Yeah, you're right, Garlisle. I mean, there is a chance that we don't find. Oh, Big Guard is a nice find right there. But there is a chance that we don't find Guild Toss. That's either Samurai, which has Guild Toss inherently, or the Guild Toss ability. If we don't do that, we do have Hero Song, but I don't know if we have Sing. We have Mix. You could do, but I don't think we have any high-level AoE summons. Do we have level 3 Flare, which is one of my favorite strats to use? I'm not sure if we have that. But a difficult Ned fight at the end could get really interesting for all of the viewers.
Yeah, Big Guard is also a tool that's going to make a big difference in this because our players have gotten relatively squishy classes and not a whole lot of experience. So Big Guard is going to make it possible.
Absolutely. You're really happy to have found Big Guard, and you're going to slap blue on someone immediately to use it, just so that you can cut all of that damage in half that's coming at you. But yeah, you're right. You don't want to be in a situation where all you've got for Ned is Shoat, trying to spam Shoat on the breakable part, and also something like, AoE Fire 3 or something would take a while, even if you manage to buff your level up pretty high. Sildra is nice, but I don't think we have Summon 4, do we?
I don't think we do. I do know we have found at least one Air Knife, but without Summon 4, like that does limit us. If they find Summon 4 or 5, that could be enough. Like just setting up, like buffing up your party, and then double casting Sildra and mimicking that around could do plenty. Here's a pain in the neck, but not unfightable.
Yeah. Getting Sildra right before this would have been great if you have Summon 4, because Omniscient is weak to wind, and Sildra would do really nice damage even through the shell status that he has. But in this case, don't think our runners have that, and it's just going to have to be a spam magic at him situation. It's just going to take a little while to get all the hit points down. In this location, I think there's about... It's not particularly high, it's only about 22,000 hit points, but again, he has shells, so these spells are being halved in their damage.
Yeah. So this is probably one of the most dangerous fights they could have found remaining. We still do have... The triplets are out there somewhere, which they can't actually cast the Odin spell yet to easily triple kill them. The Guardians are still out there, which would be kind of a mess.
Yeah.
I would have said Marigine, but I guess they do have very powerful Fire 3s. But yeah. I feel like that's probably... Maybe Gilgamesh 3 would be somewhat troublesome. Probably not, though.
You can doom Gilgamesh 3. You can also doom the Guardians, but they're just it's a little bit hard to overcome their level and actually get it to hit consistently. But you might be, with X Magic, you might be able to get through both of those without too much trouble. Both runners facing Omni. I need to take a look at Francoise's setup and see what he's doing. Oh, wall just went up and Francoise reset out because he did not want to eat his own flare. That's unfortunate. That's total RNG, by the way. Omniscient has a 1 in 3 chance on a certain turn to cast wall, and he cast it against Francoise, and I haven't seen it. Oh no, the Cure 3 did happen.
Oh, okay. Well, now they're back to basically even. Heck, Francoise arguably has the advantage here because Karma might be running lower on MP at this point. And that's not going to be as much of a problem for Francoise, who has switched to a full Mimic setup.
Yeah, you might be smarter for Karma after that Cure 3 to just reset, because if that can happen, you basically need to mute Sword. I mean, there's other ways that you can deal with this, but I don't think he has any of them. So setting up mute Spellblade and just not letting Omni do anything at all during the fight might be the better way to go. I was sort of assuming that Francois was going to do that, but I haven't actually seen his setup yet. Omniscient does not die to Deathclaw. You have to be non-heavy for that. So that won't hit him. Yeah, he's a heavy boss.
Similarly, Condemn won't work for that.
Yeah, I mean, there's other things you can do. It depends on what abilities you have equipped. Like, if you cast Wall on him, then he won't be able to cast it on himself, and then you can bounce spells onto him and stuff. But you can... Yeah. I don't think we need to talk about Berserk strats with such a magic-heavy team. It should be doable like this. It's just extremely rude that in the Rift, and I wasn't sure about this location. I knew that in the next spot, Omni can have Cure 3, but I wasn't sure about this spot. It turns out he can use Cure 3 here too, and that is a full heal all the way back to max HP.
Yeah, I
you
think
certainly
all
don't
of
want to
the
see it again.
yeah, I think all of the void spots use the highest level AI versions. So
That kind of makes sense. I thought there might be a difference in some of the spots, but that could very well be the case. It sort of makes sense as sort of a tiering of bosses to just give all of the bosses in the void that additional spell to their script. 22,000 hit points, which doesn't sound like that much, but he has both armor and shell is the big thing in this case, because it cuts all of your magic damage in half.
plus regen 2 doesn't exactly help.
Right, and then if you don't want to use a fire rod because that will actually cause a reset. Karma just got... They might have done that on purpose because it's just a quick way to reset the fight.
This is true.
No, now he's done a soft reset and he needs to reconfigure his party. Francois also seems to be having it's a long drawn out fight here.
I think Karma, that might have just been a genuine mistake, and Karma's going like, well, if I have to start the fight over anyway, let's switch to a setup where I can actually just mute Sword.
Yeah, now the Man-Eater, which is what I see on the Dancer, does not take Spellblades, but maybe he's going to put it on a Black Mage with an Assassin Dagger. That'll work.
Yeah.
Karma was trying to get the mute spell. Oh, Francois has won, so there's an advantage there. There's a lead. We have the Dispel spell, but I don't think we have White 6 to cast it.
Yeah, I think we've only seen up to White. I see White 4 just now on Karma's side, which is not high enough to cast a spell.
Yeah, it's a tier 6, so need to have that max white to be able to use it. I was saying Karma was trying to get the mute spell to hit Omniscient, but because of Shell and reasonably high level, it doesn't hit very reliably, and it also doesn't last nearly as long as the Spellblade. So unfortunately, it looks like he's got Mute Sword on the Dancer, and if she has that Man-Eater equipped, it's not going to work. He's going to find that out real quick. It'll be a reset from Omni, and then it'll be him changing weapons, I guess, and re-enchanting. But that's, Karma is behind now because Francois was able to actually win this fight and get through. I don't think I ever saw Omni cast Cure 3, so it could have been just RNG. If you want to use the Judgment Staff against Omniscient, it actually doesn't work because it's treated as an item and it causes him to reset. So if you want to do that, you have to something like stop or paralyze him and then immediately use the Judgment Staff to dispel. So that's a sort of a tricky situation, and unfortunately, it usually doesn't work out.
Yeah. Hello to everybody coming in from the main Speed Gaming channel. This is the Final Fantasy V Career Day Randomizer. We're hosting our 1.0 launch tournament, and this is the winner's bracket side finals that you're seeing, and we're actually having a very, very close race today. Both of our racers are in the final gauntlet of bosses, and Francoise is one boss ahead, but only barely, and might be about to get slowed down because this is also a really difficult boss.
Yeah, this void is turning out to be pretty rough. Francoise has a lead and all of a sudden runs into the Crystal Guardians, which is a fight that we mentioned could be a problem earlier. I mentioned you could go this route where you spam Doom at them and hope for it to hit, but it's going to take a lot of tries. They're level 77 and they have some magic evade. I don't think it goes over like 35%, but here it is about 35%. And so the level differential plus the spell hit rate minus the magic evade factor makes it so this is a little bit of a tough fight to win. Francois would be in good shape if he had more people standing and only 2 crystals left. Once you get 1 or 2 down, the fight gets a lot easier, but you need to have your team up. So you want to put up, say, Golem or something like that and spam away with the Doom spells.
Yeah, not setting up Golem was definitely the missed opportunity there, unfortunately.
You have to be really fast as well because they're very fast. If you don't have... oh, what happened? I was
the Conjure strat. I mean, that is a way to access out. Is just like roll Conjure until it happens.
Oh, interesting. So Francoise is going for the instant kill Odin. You know what, though? You could still roll Gungnir. You might not roll True Edge from Conjure, I don't think.
So it will attempt to do True Edge. There is like a tiny % chance that True Edge will fail on the opportunity that it should be cast, and then it will cast Gungnir instead. But yeah, it's a
level-based roll. I mean, it's RNG as well, but the chance of it hitting improves with your level. But the thing with the Guardians is they're level 77, and so they're a bit resistant to even Odin at times. So Conjure, one for the Conjure for the win. I now see why you were laughing, because it's a funny, potentially viable strat. Mimic, no, it wouldn't in this case. You can Conjure and then you can mimic the Conjure ability and it will do the random roll for among the summons that you have. So that totally works if you want to mimic. I mean, these mimics can wear shields, which helps maybe, but I would want to at least put summon 3 on one person to get Golem up so that you have a little bit of safety from which you can Conjure.
Yeah, that and like Big Guard going up and stuff and everybody being in the back row. For Eat It Up, Conjure is an ability that randomly summons one summon that you have learned. Our racers do have the Odin summon, which if they pull it, could instant kill the Guardians. But, it looks like Francoise has just opted to be like, no, I'm not going to fight the crystals.
You know what? That's a viable choice. This is a tough fight, and that save point is optional.
Yeah, it does mean like an extra like minute back and forth for every time you need to go back and heal and save and stuff. But there have been times, like I've seen Necrophobia be there sometimes, and racers are just like, you know what? No, it is not worth it.
I'm actually okay with this. I know that there is You're going to lose some time running back and forth, but the chances of pulling off a victory against the crystals are... honestly, I think you could do it with the right setup, but Francoise has already sort of invested a lot of time in that and probably needs to move on.
Yeah, and I think that's a completely legitimate strategy, is just understanding, like, it's going to be a lot of dice rolling to beat those Guardians, so we'll have to see if Karma ends up, like, having better luck or coming to the same conclusion or what happens, because I think Karma's about to get bowled over by the first encounter, too.
Yeah, look at that. On their first turn, they all went first. They took out 2 members of the team, and they weakened a third. Now, Karma going for the AoE Fire 3 is just not going to cut it. Golem, that really helps. That will absorb quite a bit of incoming damage. But I think he might have to spam it like every turn without Big Guard, because it's going to... Okay, shield blocks are good, rather than golem blocks, because that keeps golem alive a little bit longer. Oops, already gone though. I think this is a reset.
Yeah, it should.
You're not going to
Yeah,
win
there it
with
is.
one person up and none of them down. You don't mean XP from question from the chat. You probably mean hit points. They each have 5,000 hit points in the catastrophe spot, for a total of 20,000, which is what catastrophe has in vanilla. So that's how the HP distribution works. But Francoise beat Titan, which we had no doubt that he could do. With Big Guard and Golem, you can basically become untouchable against Titan. And
Karma, it
definitely
appears,
is
is also
keeping the lead.
Yeah, but Karma has also made the decision, just like, okay, no, we're not doing it. Let's see what Francoise gets. Francoise gets a panda.
No, you don't like to see this either. A panda can be really rude in the void.
Yeah, I don't believe there is any instant kills for a panda, so there might be some stuff. I think Mind Blast or Stop works on a panda, like one of the 2 of them.
Let's see. A panda... I don't usually use those things against him, but if that's all you've got... I mean, he's certainly weak to fire, which most people know. You can mute him, which is somewhat helpful if you've got Spellblade. You can also blind and berserk him, which I like to do, but I don't necessarily think that this party is set up for that. Maybe somebody has a power staff. If you berserk him, then he never does any of his counters, which is kind of nice, but you definitely need to be able to handle his strong single hit attacks afterwards. Ifrit is a funny thing that you can do against a panda, which gets him to turn around, and he cowers in fear, and it's kind of slow because he talks, he says eek eek, it's Ifrit, and then he turns around and just does what he normally would do, which is usually a counter. And Ifrit isn't really that strong at this point, so I don't think that I would try that even if I had it. Fire 3 X Magic, I think, is the way to go. Francoise has Big Guard, and a panda's just really not going to be able to hurt him very much. So I think this is working out very well for Francoise. Yeah, as mentioned in chat by Freddy, Francoise is probably going to have to run back to the save point after this because of MPUs, but we know that Karma has also abandoned the jail save, and so that means that they are both going to have to run back anytime that they need to save and refill on MP. And Francoise has just beaten a panda, so nice job. I think the simple strat worked really well there, just X Magic Fire 3, the Fire Weak boss, right? Let's not overthink it.
Yeah, Karma managing to get through Titan as well. Not cleanly, but does manage to, and we'll have to see if Karma decides to go back and heal up, or if Karma's just gonna try to push forward for an extra boss.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a rough fight with Titan because he hits really hard and hard enough that even with big guard, your golem can fall off eventually. I mean, that's what Francois used against a panda was big guard giving you protect and shell. Reduces the incoming damage and also reduces the chance that you'll get hit by something like Drain or Toad from Panda. Plus, you're using 4 Aegis shields, which have a chance to block both physical and magic outright. And he was actually in a really good position against a Panda. I expected it to be more of a struggle, but it was pretty easy.
Yeah, so we do have... People are talking about potentially seeing Stalker in this last boss fight spot. Leviathan's still out there too, which would be a bit of a thing. Most otherwise, though, I think it would be a pretty easy final Twintania spot.
Stalker actually isn't too bad because you can put it to sleep and then just magic one of them down and then you win.
Yeah, that's
true. I actually
true.
think Leviathan might be more of a problem because he will Tidal Wave counter your... Gilgamesh 3, you can just Doom him. Spam Doom and you win. We've seen this in other races in the tournament, so hopefully our racers have seen and remembered that. It looks like Francois is just checking notes, weakness notes right now. Does Doom work here? Do I have something that works here?
Fiery Blizzard saying Free Void. No, it really hasn't been. They managed to find... They managed to find almost all of the genuinely difficult bosses they could have found here that hadn't been found earlier in the run. But it has been pointed out as well, I think both of our runners were probably banking on finding some better tools for Neo X-Death as they went through the Void, and we're down to only 4 more chests or something left.
Yeah, as of right now, we do not have a super easy... final fight by any means. It's very winnable, but it's gonna take a little bit of time. We'll have to see what's in those last chests. They could have something totally changes what I'm saying right now. I also should mention that Francois is having a long fight with Greg 3 because he didn't Doom him, and so now Enkidu has shown up, and he has to fight both of them, and Enkidu is healing. Okay, well now Enkidu's gone with Doom, but it would be nice to do Doom on Greg as well. But Francois is just going with Fire 3. This might give Karma a little bit of a chance to catch up if he can get through a Panda who looks to be giving him a little bit of trouble. Right now, if a Panda used Wind Slash, I think it might kill some people. With Big Guard up, it's not too bad.
Yeah. Chaos Lord bringing up an interesting point. We have mostly very easy bosses remaining, except Stalker, Leviathan, maybe a couple of the other Gilgameshes aren't doomable. But with no real safe strats against Neo X-Death, there is a chance somebody might opt to take out Necrophobia just for security's sake. Because, getting that save point that much closer to Neo X-Death is actually going to save you a couple minutes if something does go wrong.
That's a good point. I don't think that I would do it, but if I died, I might look at it. If I died in the Ted and Ned fight, but if you die in that fight, you've lost so much time already. I don't know. It's a tough call. Francois has beaten Gilgamesh 3. We'll probably run back and rest up and save, and then I expect him to just try and beat Ned the old-fashioned way. Ted and Ned the old-fashioned way. I hope he has enough MP total. Ooh, wait a minute, he's not running back. He's going forward. Maybe he wants to check the chests. Maybe he wants to go for that last save point. Karma has now beaten a Panda, so this one's going down to the wire here. I'm pretty sure that Karma's going to remember that you can Doom Greg 3, because actually did it in a previous race. But Karma's running all the way back before he does that fight, which, you know, he probably used a lot of MP, so I can't really blame him. Yeah.
Did see Holy Sword Magic. Might be a consideration to use a physical attacker here, especially having like the Brave Blade and stuff. And Holy Sword Magic, Brave Blade, that'll do like max damage to Tree-X Death at least. Especially if you were already going to use Magic Sword for Break Blade to instant kill one of the parts. But
yeah, I definitely saw Flare Spellblade, so that's a really nice damage attack. Yeah, I think both runners are in a little bit of a tight spot. They do not have the power that you're used to having at the end here, and so the final section, the final fight could be not a guaranteed win, and you don't want to lose that fight. Francois checked the chests in the void, and he still doesn't feel strong. So he's going to be running all the way back to save, and then we'll see what he does from there.
Yeah, that's kind of understandable, honestly. Like, at this point, knowing that you're going to be doing a rough Neo-X Death fight, I can understand going forward and checking those chests and being like, okay, if Giltos is here, I just set up to win the game right now, because that literally would have been enough. Or even just summon 4, honestly, would have been enough to set up to win the game with, like, elemental powers and level boosting and stuff. But they didn't get that, and now it's like, okay, like, Francois is going to have to back out and really do some, like, careful consideration of what comes next. And in a few moments here, when Karma realizes he also doesn't have quick access to any killing strats, this is going to be far more fascinating into this run than we are used to.
Yeah, here's the thing. I mean, Karma has now opened up the void, and he's also going to be checking chests here. I guess the question is, what's he going to do after that? I think he's either going to check the last save point, or he's going to run back, like Francois just did. But we will see. Because I don't think Karma has the MP to just blaze right into the final fight. I don't think that's going to work for him. Could be wrong. Maybe he's got a big brain. Oh,
Karma, that's Shinryu.
The Shinryu chest for the fans. Did he do that on purpose? Did he? That might wipe the team. Wind slash. Oh no. Karma is a. I don't know why he did that. Other than it's funny as heck, but still, maybe it's a quick way to get back to the save point. Oh, he's warping out of the void. He's going back to do checks and get the. He wants that Moogle suit, or he wants the Mirage Radar to go shopping.
Or Pyramid.
Pyramid loot?
Yeah, somebody... Okay. We were talking about this earlier. If you find nothing, Pyramid is a bunch of checks, and all you need to find is summon 4 or 5, or Samurai or Giltos, and you are good to go. That's literally all they would need for this to actually pay out.
Yeah, so I guess if you're going to suicide, you might as well do it in style and take on Shinryu. It's suicide by God Dragon or something. And then leave and try and get stronger and then come back later. If I was him, though, I really would have checked that final save point, because that becomes a warp point if you can win that fight. And then it's so much quicker for you to get back to the final fight instead of running through the entire void. It may have been a pain in the butt, but if you don't look, you don't know. You can always just reset out of it if you don't want to do the fight.
Yeah, like, there are faster ways to reset than that, even if it is stylish as heck. So I do think that was just a legitimate accident of forgetting that Shinryu's in that chest, because sometimes people forget that. People get so used to skipping all the final chests, because usually you're already good to go before you go in there. So if you're desperately looking through the chest for something at the last moment, you might forget one of them is Shinryu.
Yeah, I've definitely seen people forget. I personally have never forgotten, but I think that might go back to, like, my vanilla experience with the game or something, and just knowing what happens when you open that chest. But yeah, I think it was I don't think it was a forget. I think it was a meme. But he also is frustrated and isn't happy in general about any of this situation that he's in. So I don't know. Francoise is back. I haven't really noticed what he has done to prepare for this final fight. My guess is if he conserves MP by mimicking a lot, maybe he can get through. You put up big guard. Fire 3 is decent damage. You got Hero Song to boost your level. You got Aegis Shields to block all the white holes.
So what I saw on there is all of the party's actually been decked out with Dragon Sword, which is an interesting option, but it does give you a way to actually recover your MP during this fight in a pinch.
Oh, interesting. I would have thought that just using Mimic would be the way to save MP. If you're max level, you're boosted. If you're able to boost Fire 3, you're probably going to do 5,000 or more against single targets, but then when it becomes split target against all 4 parts, that you might hit like, I don't know, 2,500, I guess is how it goes. Not terrible, but it's just going to take a while to win. You need to keep big guard up so that Almagest doesn't kill you, but you have enough hit points to survive and win. And then you have to weather some Grand Crosses, which are just random status effects that could kind of ruin your day, but probably aren't going to be that bad.
Yeah, I was going to say I was surprised at a lack of Chemist, but there isn't really a whole lot that Chemist would take advantage of here. And Francoise has all the Aegis shields, so he doesn't need the life shield in order to prevent White Hole during this first phase. So he can at least just sit on Hero Song and go into this at max level, at which point the damage is, like, it's not going to be a fast kill in terms of AoE damage, but it's going to probably work, assuming nothing goes too wrong.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, in vanilla, I think that I would have no problem being in the situation that he's in. It's just that in the race situation, you want a more guaranteed win final fight. Just max level Black Mage with decent spells should get the job done. There's one other thing I would probably do is put blue on. Well, we've got blue on someone because someone put big guard up. But you can also Mind Blast and keep the Grand Cross part from actually doing that at all.
Yeah.
And you can even condemn the back if you've got condemn.
Which they will have condemn. Yeah, you always have condemn going into this because X-Death, like normal X-Death, uses it.
Well, it's only a 2/3 chance for him to open the fight with it, so it's possible that he didn't use it, but you almost always, seems like you almost always have condemn near the end. Karma finding some running shoes, which are nice in the pyramid. Okay, so Fire 3, I said 5,000, but we're looking at high 4,000s. I'm not sure if this is boosted with Fire Rod or anything, but that's pretty decent damage. Again, you want to mimic this, which I assume he's doing to save on MP, because I know he used an elixir earlier, and I'm not sure if we ever found another one. Also, Kryle is singing, but I don't think we have any way to knock her out of singing, so that might be a little bit of a miscalculation, and having to do a 3-person fight hurts you a little bit. With Mimic, you have to equip the fight command, or else you can't fight. And these Mimics don't have any way that I can see. I mean, you could kill off Kara, and then you could revive her. That's one thing that you could do.
Yeah, it was probably something that should have been done. But,
yeah, probably.
Karma?
So you want her in that situation for a second. Oh, break Black Magic. Wow.
Yeah, unfortunately, Karma did not find what Karma was looking for.
an easy fight at the top of the pyramid. Got a lot of loot, but we didn't get Samurai or Giltos. I assume chat would have exploded if he had found either of those.
Yeah, I think Karma would have been out of here the minute that he found one of those.
Yeah. Is there a chance that we get another key item here, though?
Oh, there's the Mirage Radar.
Okay, it's time to go shop.
I was going to say that's like maybe the one thing. That or like the Adamantite, which we knew would have led to the Moogle suit.
Right.
The Mirage Radar was probably the best possible find. But it is still going to take some time to go through those shops, and Francoise is already on Neo X death. It'll take a few minutes for Karma to catch back up, just physically to get back there. If Francoise actually manages to pull out this, like, second-tier power level win against Neo X death, Francoise still has a shot. If it goes out of control, though, that could be it.
Yeah, I'm definitely rooting for Francoise. I know he's got the vanilla experience to pull this off. The question really is just as long as he doesn't get unlucky, he'll be fine. And also, you know, is his damage fast enough to win a slow fight quickly enough? Okay, so Karma just took Summon 5, and that with Sildra is all you need.
Yeah.
For the final fight.
So, yeah. The main way this would go wrong, Grand Cross going off, which Francoise is now doing something to prevent that. A badly timed, like, Almagest is going to do like 700 to 800 damage, which isn't going to be immediately deadly, but if like the physical attacking phase breaks through Golem all of a sudden, or the magic attacking one lands like a Fire 3 or something on people right beforehand, that could start getting a little bit sloppy and risky.
Yeah, the skill distribution is probably okay, but it's possible that if someone goes down who was sort of essential because they cast a certain spell and no one else can do so, that could be a problem. Because I don't know if we've got... do we have the item command on anyone? Do we have the ability to...
we don't have the item command, but I'm pretty sure our runners do have the life spell, and everybody's got X magic equipped. Oh, and there was a dispel right before Almagest, just like that. Rip Lena.
Right, well, X magic gives you life, so you're fine in that situation. Apparently, the Grand Cross part is dead, so we don't have to worry about that. Almagest, in this case, if you can keep Big Guard up, Almagest isn't that big of a problem. I would love to see the blue magic spell list though, because you can. He's just using Big Guard, so we're not able to see whether he has Condemn or not. But I would definitely be condemning the back. It's a move that I like to do. You know what I do though is I like to Mind Blast the Grand Cross part while I kill the other parts, and actually leave the Mind Blast part for last. And so that's not what Francoise is doing. He's going to have to try and kill the rest, the last two parts evenly.
It does make some sense, because the deal is like if you're relying on Mimic to conserve MP for dual casting, you can't really be jumping back and forth between Mimic and then setting up for dual cast Fire 3s again and again.
That's a very good point. When you've got Mimics, your strategies do change because so much of it is dependent on getting the Mimic turn order. Yep. Karma's final fight isn't going to be super fast. He's going to be using Sildra and being at max level. He can just mimic it over and over, and it'll make the second phase pretty fast, but he does have to buff up and all of that. I still am giving Francoise the edge at the moment. But there's definitely some problems. Cryo not contributing anything at this point is a problem. And then just having to do Dragon Sword ever is a little bit of a problem, because that's a turn where your MP... You need to do it to get MP, but you don't want to really do it.
Yeah, so one thing of note is Golem has fallen off, and it'll be interesting to see... okay, he's going to refresh. I was going to say, leaving Golem down could leave the opportunity for the front part to actually not Cryle out of singing.
Mm-hmm. That would be actually something helpful, that Ned could do for us is knock Kryl out of her singing. Unfortunately, it hasn't happened yet. Francoise is focusing on the Almagest part, which is fine. Actually,
it's a good strategy.
I can't really criticize whatever you want to do at this point.
It makes sense because the main way that any of your characters are going to die at this point, before we reach the final rushdown, the main threat is going to be Almagest going off at the same time as the spellcaster or physical part going off. And I just heard the sound of the Almagest part going down. So now the real danger is going to be making sure that these two die at the same time, which the back part does have a little bit more HP than the others. If this gets timed poorly, when only one part of Neo-Exdeath is left, it does spam cast Meteo as its action, which has the potential to go wrong even through Shell and stuff, because Meteo is just so random. But it's probably going to be okay. It's not over yet until we actually hear that final death sound.
Yeah, the front and the back have 10,000 hit point difference. The front has 50,000 and the back has 60,000. So you do want to... it's pretty easy, actually, to just take about 10,000 off of the back with the way that these damage numbers are coming back to make them sort of even. Karma using the Death Potion mix on Greg 3 had to do that fight again, I guess, because he didn't save after it. That slows him down just a little bit because of a little bit of Greg's talking here, but not too much. And there's Meteo is a possibility, but also other things are a possibility when only one part of Ned is left, like Almagest, and it also gets double turns when it only has one part left. It can do Maelstrom. It can do lots of really nasty stuff that we don't want to see.
Yeah, but Kryl is actually back in the fight. Something snapped Kryl out of it.
All right. Hey, that's great. Somebody with probably full MP is back and can contribute. That's a big help for Francoise. And I'm really liking his damage output here. It takes almost a good 5 minutes to get to the second phase, even if you have a good setup. And with Sildra, I think it'll be even a little slower. So Francoise still has a good lead as long as he can finish this fight off. We're mimicking Fire 3 on the front and then on the back with X Magic with every mimic. So we're not using any MP at all unless we have to fix something that goes wrong from an attack. So Francoise is looking good here.
Oh, that's a death sound.
Anybody hear a noise? Okay, unfortunate that first Fire 3 is wasted, but the second one might do the job. And I think that's GG.
Yep. That's GG.
Wow, nice finish by Francoise. I've got a 1:56:03 as official time in the race room.
Yeah, get those GGs.
I will mention that he can come and join us and talk about this at any point.
Yeah, Karma, in the meantime, is going to be showing off a bit more of a traditional strategy for dealing with Neo-Exdeath, which is using some antidotes and Revivify together in a mix creates Samson powers. Do that a few times on a character and you'll pump up their level, and your level is a big factor in what determines your damage in Final Fantasy V. So take advantage of all of that, and take advantage of Sildra, who is a fairly strong, not top-tier summon if you don't have Wizard Rods and Air Knives, and I guess Elemental powers also help. And you can get 7,000, 8,000 damage on every part of Neo-Exdeath at once, and then it's just dual cast that, mimic it down, and Neo-Exdeath will just be absolutely shredded.
I'm basically expecting about 7,000-ish from everybody here once he gets properly set up from every Sildra use. We'll see for sure. Could be off by a little bit. Thanks, Crowd, for joining us last minute, says Francois in the chat. Feel free to join us whenever you're ready, Francois. We'll talk to you while Karma does his fight. Certainly, we want to talk to you about that tough final fight that you just pulled off.
Yeah, hopefully the SpeedGaming bot actually sent the invite, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not proficient enough in what's going on behind the scenes, but I did send him an invite from the race room. I guess it's just a question of whether he's been given access.
Yeah, so it looks like Karma, rather than using Samson's powers, has opted to just bard hero song up the levels, which fair enough. The downside of using the Aegis shields, now you actually have to hit your characters out of the singing.
Yeah, you got to punch them or something, but in the case of mimics, unless you have... okay, so he's got fight on someone just for that purpose, probably, which is what you got to do, and that's just the way it goes. Or you could do what Francois did and wait for Ned to knock you out of singing. How do we send Francois an invite? I actually don't know how. Okay.
Oh, Freddie,
we're working on that.
So, there we go.
Thanks, Freddie.
First off, welcome to the call. Second off, GG and congratulations on making it to grand finals with the advantage.
Thanks. Wow.
Yeah, very impressive. That last fight was... I know that you're good at the vanilla game, and you probably had to think back to some of those old vanilla strategies.
Yeah. Actually, the only hindrance I was going to meet was the MP problem. That's why I equipped Dragon Sword.
That might be the first time I have ever seen Dragon Sword brought to Neo X Death, but it worked, and I knew exactly why you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have. I was expecting you to use a lot of Mimic to save on MP, but the Dragon Sword really did help. I think you needed it a few times.
I used it only once.
Okay, I saw you use it the one time. I figured I must have missed some of the other times.
Because
but
I was
also
kind enough to not be mean to me.
Yeah, not too mean. A little bit mean, but not too mean. I remember when earlier in the seed when you used the one elixir that you had, and I thought to myself, I mentioned it that it could be a factor.
Yeah, I thought about that elixir.
Yeah, that's what happens in the randomizer. We don't tend to find very many elixirs because they're all stuck in Phoenix Tower. In the vanilla game, you usually have quite a few elixirs at the end, so it's just a little bit of an extra difficulty that we have to overcome in the randomizer.
Speaking of things that weren't found, you might be interested to know that probably the biggest thing that gave you an advantage is that ultimately you made the decision to just go at Neo X Death with what you had. Karma also hadn't found like high-level summons or Gil Toss or anything, and actually decided after clearing out the Twintania spot to back away and go check out the pyramid and stuff and try to find something better for Neo X Death, and that seems to have given you the advantage to win. How did you feel going through a lot of that race, probably realizing like this is a fast seed, but I don't have ideal tools for Ned?
The plan was I'm going to have a go at Death, and if I wiped, I was going to pyramid 100%. And the thing is, okay, so this is a fast seed. I know the bosses in X-Death Castle are garbage, so I'm against Karma, so I'm going to rush the last tablet and then hope I find something either in the void or somewhere else. But the pyramid was plan B if I wiped.
Well, I think that you clearly made the right decision, and I think at the time I was in favor of it because I knew that if you went for that final fight, and if you had the right setup, that the chances of winning were pretty high. It wasn't going to be easy, but you could pull it off.
Yeah, if that strat passed, it was basically I win.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm really happy to see that, because in this tournament, there's been just so many races where we, gill toss for the win at the end. And I like to see an old school, long final fight, which is what I'm sort of used to from playing vanilla. I mean, you buffed up levels anyway. It could have been a lot longer, believe it or not.
Yeah.
For those people who aren't familiar, having Hero Song and doing, 4,500 damage with a Fire 3 is actually better than if you hadn't buffed up to level 99.
Yeah, so overall, how did you feel about that seed? Like, did you think it was really good seeing like that sealed castle and stuff? Just what were your general thoughts?
Actually, I thought it was good seed. I only lacked equipment and firepower, but overall it was a really nice seed. You had to read into the logic to know you didn't have to do the exact castle bosses, because you were assured the last tab that was in World 3 that Tool Pass was the way of the hero, and both bridges and underwater spots were barren. So just rush Tool Pass.
Yeah, the hints and some of those blind World 1 checks did work out pretty nicely for both of you. You didn't have to futz around too much in World 3 at all, which is nice. What else was I going to mention? Oh, some people in chat wanted to remind you for next time that Gilgamesh 3 can be doomed at the Twin Tanya spot there, so it might have been a little bit faster, but otherwise everything was pretty smooth.
Alpha Death. I knew you could Alpha Death, but Doom. All the times I met Greg 3, every time Doom missed, so I didn't bother to risk a Doom.
Fair enough. Yeah, you do have to spam it in order to actually get it to hit in that spot, because he's got some magic evade and such.
And
Karma has just finished.
Judging from my luck I had with the crystals, so I decided not to spam Doom too much.
Fair enough. Karma will probably be joining us shortly. He just finished up. The X-Magic Sildras were probably doing, what was it, 9,000 or so per character?
Basically slower animation gill toss.
Yeah, exactly. So we pretty much knew once he got that rolling that he was going to be just fine and get through. I assume Freddie's going to send him an invite so he can join us when he's ready as well. Does anyone else in chat have any other things they want to point out that we might have forgotten about the race that we should bring up?
I was going to ask, how do you feel about that Guardians at the save point?
Oh God. I don't have I'm not lucky with random shenanigans, be it with Doom or Conjure. So I say screw it. I'm not gonna do that save point boss again.
The Conjure idea was an interesting one. We were hoping that it might work out, but yeah, I don't think Odin ever rolled for you.
Yeah, because I forgot actually that I had Rama. I thought, oh, okay, so it's going to be a roll between Remora, Golem, and Odin. 1 in 3. Gonna be doable. I forgot about Rama.
Both of you ended up skipping that save point. And speaking of both of you, IBKarma is in chat with us now. GG's to you on the finish.
GG's. What did you kill him with? I'm curious.
Mimic, X-Magic, Fire 3.
Okay, so you just fought him base. Okay, I left.
It was very close. Francoise did get there Oh, now I'm getting confused. I'm pretty sure he got there ahead of you. He just went for it with what he had.
Yeah, Francois
Sorry.
was a little bit ahead, but made the decision to go at it with a setup that definitely wasn't going to be very quick. Karma, you seem to opt to take a big risk and be like, okay, I've got to go for something in the pyramid stuff. How did you feel going into that seed, seeing it was generally fast, but just the perfect Neo X Death tools just kept evading you?
I mean, there was just nothing to kill a Neo X Death with. I mean, obviously you got it done with Fire 3, but I wouldn't have trusted that, not with the magic pool. I was running out of magic on regular bosses, let alone Ned.
Yeah, Francois was using all mimics so he could save some MP that way, but he actually put Dragon Sword on, was it everyone?
Yeah, in case I needed MP for everyone.
So, a couple of fun questions that have been brought up by the chat. Yeah. How tempting for each of you was actually trying out the Necrophobia save point? Because we noticed that there weren't a whole lot of bosses left that wouldn't have been like either fairly trivial or instant killable, and like especially when we realized Karma was gonna just like yeet out of the void, I was wondering if that save point fight actually ever crossed either of your minds.
I was gonna look at it if I hadn't yeeted myself to Shinryu.
That's the other question. Was that an accident, or were you showing off for the fan?
I was showing it off. I was pretty sure I had one chest left. I didn't have shit, and I was just like, sorry, but I didn't have nothing, and I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna dip. I need something. I don't care if it's Summoner, Summon 5, something.
Well, it definitely was entertaining to see a Shinryu Death Warp, if we'll call it that.
Yeah, I love my beginning of the game. Like, I think my beginning of the game was great, and I wouldn't have changed that part. I think I over-checked for the Moogle suit.
Yeah, that was something that people kept talking about, because we knew it was obvious that you were looking for that as you kept doing more and more World 1 checks.
Yeah, because I could have went way earlier. I could have went, what, under 50 minutes, I think I was in go mode, or no mode?
Pretty close to that, yeah. You were both like, for the reference, by the way, you were both like fighting X-Death at the same time.
Yeah, I think Karma got through a little earlier, but then it was back and forth for pretty much the whole race, I would say. It was really close, at least, for the whole race.
Yeah, so I dunked out Francois to Pyramid because, you know, high density. It had Mirage Radar, which had Summon 5. So I wasn't far behind you. If I had actually gotten the last save point, I wonder how close it would have been.
Yeah, who knows? It might be worth reloading that last save and checking what that final save boss is, because the time spent running through the void, you know, that's a bit of a long run all the way from the beginning to the end.
Also, wouldn't have had to re-kill Gilga 3 either.
That's right. I didn't realize until you went back the second time that, oh, he's back.
Yeah. Speaking of things in the void, both of you had a bit of a struggle against Omniscient. I think Karma, you ran into him doing the Cure 3, and then I don't know if the Fire Rod break triggering reset was something you knew about or not. And then Francois actually ended up with a struggle of Omniscient just casting Wall on himself at one point and just immediately resetting. That one gave you both some hack.
I mean, there wasn't good tools. There was no Staff of Judgment, no Dispel, no way to get rid of his half-damage shell. So you're just trying to fight through it. And that first fight, when I ran out of magic, I had to be daggone close. That's why I broke the Fire Rod.
That makes sense.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, you were just going with trying to finish him off with that last little bit. Yeah, it was a long, drawn-out fight. That spot doesn't have a whole lot of hit points, but then when he cures himself, you're like, oh no. It's just like it all started all over again. Yep, definitely a really rough situation for all of you. I didn't really see any easy ways out of it, and the Void had some rude bosses with the Crystal Guardians and even a Panda can be really rude.
The panda wasn't too
Like
bad.
Kree, not so much, but yeah.
The only it says something though that when Gilga 3 is your best boss.
Right. And the other ones are tougher. Yeah.
We were looking at the list of remaining bosses and we're like, oh yeah, like there's maybe like 2 or 3 bosses that'll actually be difficult for these guys. Otherwise, they've got a pretty wide pool that should be fairly easy. Sorry about that.
Well, I mean, it also didn't help that we just didn't have, like, I don't know about him, but I didn't have any health, almost no levels. I think I was somewhere high 20s with like less than a K experience or health on everybody.
Yeah, I think the levels were pretty similar at the end, but they were not high, and that means hit points also were not high. But you had Big Guard, and that was basically your way to sort of weather whatever the bosses were going to throw at you. You could stay alive. You had Golem as well, but yeah, it definitely was not like much for levels or hit points because you guys just went really fast.
Triplets.
Oh, triplets. Okay.
That, I mean,
so
I think
triplets with no Odin, and no Slash.
Yeah. I would go with like I know you guys found Cure 3, but I'm not sure if you could actually cast it because that can get them down to critical health, and then you can just like break a Fire Rod or cast Bolt 2 or something on them and they die.
Not until we didn't find our White Mage was in Mirage, so and I think White 3 was the highest one I found before that.
Did you end up buying White Mage in Mirage, or did you just buy Summon 5 and leave?
I think I grabbed a White Mage, but it wasn't going to matter. I wasn't going to use it. I just was, if you notice, I sat there and danced in front of it, like kind of lolling at it because it was White Mage and Time Mage both in the first shop.
Someone in chat is asking whether you guys had Deathclaw, but I'm pretty sure that you did not. Oh,
Yeah,
looks
no,
like
we
we
did.
got
Deathclaw.
used Odin. Oh, you did?
But not really a lot of stuff to use it against.
Yeah, that's right. Doom, though, was really great. Found it at the Sildra spot, and it was a Black Mage start, and that was a lot of nice skills, although you had to spam it a bit to get it to hit in certain places. I just noticed that Karma was able to true edge the triplets. Oh yeah, because you had summon 5. So
yeah, I could have done it on
nice
my
and
second
easy,
trip,
but only if
not
you
my first trip.
were able to leave. Yeah, right.
So like, big brain for me would have been going Pyramid before the Void, but I was hoping the Void would pay out, and it just didn't today.
Yeah, and you know what? I think I would have done the same thing that both of you did. Go right into the Void because the Void usually gives you enough to finish, and it didn't really give very much this time. It was a long, drawn-out fight for Francois. He managed to do it without leaving, and that was just the little bit of the difference.
Yeah, I just didn't feel comfortable, but GG's for you to finish that with the equipment we had. Props.
Yeah, it was very impressive. Yes.
Yeah, I can't still realize.
I guess let's talk a little bit then about what's going to happen going forward. Francois advances to the championship, while Karma is going to drop down to the lower bracket where he will be going against you, Garlisle. I guess that'll be next week.
Yep, that'll be our only match.
Yeah, we'll have to plan that out, and then whichever of the two of us wins, we're going to have to go face off against Karma, and Karma will have the advantage of only having to win one. Well, out of me or Francois, whoever wins will be. Oh, right.
No, but it's Karma versus you, Garlisle.
Words are really hard right now.
I even tried to help you.
No, we know it's you. We'll correct it.
But yeah, out of myself and Karma, whoever wins will be going for a rematch against Francois, if it's Karma, or I guess the first time. But Francois, for that grand finals, will have the advantage of only needing to win one of the 2 games, while myself or Karma will end up having to win 2 games back-to-back in order to claim victory.
Yes, so Francois is in a great position, but I gotta say, this race could have gone either way quite easily. It was very close, and nobody should be taking anybody for granted at this point.
So,
These
how
are
much
the
did you
top
leave?
3.
How much did you leave in World 1, Francois?
What did I leave? I left library, and once I got to World 3, I never came back to World 1.
Yeah, I full cleared World 1 except for Adamantite and back of library. I cleared everything else.
I didn't do Walls Tower 2.
Yeah, I did Walls Tower. I got the Walls Tower key, went back, yeah, Sandworm Bait did that.
Yeah, you definitely did more of the clears, Karma. We knew you were looking for that Moogle suit, but it remained elusive because no one ever found the Adamantite, and I think it had to have been behind those checks.
Back of library.
One of those 2.
Could have been behind
Oh,
Ifrit's
back
Fire.
of the library. Oh, and no one ever found Ifrit's Fire either. So
I'm guessing it's probably somewhere in the chain of either Hear Use Call or one of the Baron locations. I never checked Moogle Waterway either.
Hero's Call was junk, if I recall.
Okay, I didn't do that one.
Francois did do the fleet with the Hear You Call, and I don't think it gave anything. He's a fleet. I just wrote an X there. It wasn't a key item. But no, really good game, really good match. You two should, watch this back just to see all the details of what happened. And I think everyone in chat, as well as myself and Garlisle on commentary, were highly entertained.
This
is a really great tournament match for us.
Yeah, you guys were very, very neck and neck, and it would bounce back and forth between which of you was in front, and there was always the knowledge that at any point something going wrong could have flipped that script around.
Yeah, I do think there was definitely some lead exchanges. At times it's a little bit hard to tell because of the order that people do things, but I definitely think there was a few back and forth lead changes as you went, and overall everybody did a really impressive job. So does anybody have anything else that they'd like to add before we
screw
move
this
along?
chest right here. If anybody saw what I just got out of it, screw this chest right here in Moogle Waterway.
Oh, our side of the stream is just catching up to that, and I'm very interested to see what this is.
I'm surprised that, let's see, I guess nobody went there during the race. I don't recall seeing it.
I did.
You did. And I don't recall there being anything too great, but we'll have to see.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Actually, we did see that. Dispel. We did see that, Karma, but the problem is that no one had white 6 to actually use Dispel. The only way you could use that is if you had gotten that white mage from
oh no, it's still just like a slap in the face for the Omnifire.
Yeah, it would be great to have dispelled Omni, and then he would have died before he probably got around to using Cure 3. That was a rough one. Yeah. But let's give shout out to folks behind the scenes. Of course, always SpeedGaming for hosting us and restreaming, and also we had Freddie in the background doing all the extra stuff along with tracking for us, and Garlisle, great job as always on commentary.
Yeah, and thank you guys for putting on a show like this. It was a really good one. This was definitely a match deserving of the winner's side finals.
Absolutely. Yep. Really good job, everyone. And I guess I'm going to just call it here. Hope to see you next time. Keep an eye out for our losers bracket final sometime next week, also going to be on SpeedGaming. Thank you to everybody, and hope to see you next time.